Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create a custom title block. I'm going to be going through step by step how I made my title block, but you will be customizing your title block for your own group. So let's get started. New title block. You can choose what size you want. I'm going to start with new size. To start with, I can choose what size I want it. Right now it's 8.5 by 11 horizontal, but I want it to be vertical. So if you click aside, you'll see that the perpendicular dimension is going to turn blue. That means you can click on it, and I'm going to change it to 8.5 inches. And I'm going to make this 11 inches. Now I'm just going to move these out of the way. Once you input a finished title block, you're not going to see the dimensions. They're just there for reference, so it doesn't matter what they look like. So if we go back to the original title block, just get a quick reminder of what these lines look like. We have one where it's just the logo, then we have the project name, then we have sheet title, author, sheet date, sheet number, scale, and timestamp. You don't need to have all these, or you may want to add more. It's personal preference. This is just what I chose to add on mine. So I'm going to go ahead and back to the title block I was working on. I'm just going to edit the dimensions because I want a 1/4 inch border all the way around. Okay, so I have that box. Now I'm gonna add a second box around the top part. This top box doesn't really serve any function, it's just to make the title block look neater. Okay, so now I'm going to get to some of the little individual boxes in here. This may not be exactly like the one I created, but it's close enough so that you'll understand how to make it for yourself. Okay, now that that's done, first thing I'm going to do is show you how to insert an image. You just click image and insert. So make sure you know where it's saved. Just click anywhere to insert it. Then you may have to scale it down. You can always move it around. Now to insert an image, you just have to save an image, upload it in, pretty straightforward. Next thing I'm going to do is show you how to input text. There's two different text types that you're going to use. There's label, then there's a general text box. You start with a general text box. So, for instance, right here, I want that to say author. But that's a little small, so I can also change the size. So if I want to do that, I can hit edit type. I can duplicate it. It's set at 1/16, so maybe I want to double that to 1/8. May have to go back and click on it to make sure it actually selected the right text style. Yeah, there it is. It's move text. In the top left corner, there's arrows that you can use to move around. In the top right, there's rotate. Or if you want to say you want to nudge just a little bit without using the mouse, you can also hit your arrow keys to move it around a little, just like that, so you can adjust it where you want it. Then I'm going to add a second text box right here, and that is going to say date. And I'm going to add another one. Actually, I don't need to add one right there. So that's how you insert a general text box. Next, I'm going to show you how to do an annotation label. You can just click anywhere. Let's start with this box here. Let's say I want to do a project name. And I can also make that bigger. I already made a few earlier that have bigger sizes, so I'm just going to upload that in. You can adjust the size of this. You can adjust these dots to change the horizontal constraints of each text box. And let's say I want the horizontal line to actually be centered. I can go to properties, click center, and there, now it's centered in the box. And just to show you how annotations work, I'm going to show you the finished one again, because this also uses an annotation right here. So if we go to Manage, Project Information, let's say I want to change the name to tutorial title. We click OK, and there we go. It automatically changed to our new project name. So annotations can be good if you're going to use the same sheets. You're going to use, multiple sheets in the same project, or if you're going to use the same title block in multiple projects. So that's why it's good, because you can always change everything in project information right here. So, and I also use the annotation tab for this sheet name right here, author, date, scale, and timestamp, and sheet number. So let's go back to the title block. Now I'm going to insert a second annotation right here, and I want this to be the sheet name. I'm going to make that bigger. Okay, now I have that in. Now I'm going to show you the finished one again, just to show you, because there's a difference between project properties and sheet properties. Project properties are going to remain the same for every single sheet in your project, but the sheet properties, like for instance the sheet title, can only be used for each specific sheet. So I could click the title block and I could change to level 4 underscore. Sometimes they're a little harder to change. You can also just try typing it in there. And there we go, level 4 underscore. So that won't affect the project properties, but it will, you can change it here. So say you have the same annotation in multiple parts of the sheet, it will apply to all of them. Whereas author here, that is a project property, sheet date, that is a sheet property, scale is actually based on the view in each sheet. So here it's already set 3 out of 64 inches as a default, so that's gonna select that here automatically. And then there's the sheet number here, which is again a sheet property that you can create your own. Then here at the bottom I have a timestamp. It's just giving the current date and time for the last time that this was opened, the last time it was edited, which can be handy to help keep track of your records. So let's go back to our title block again and finish up placing everything in. So go back to create, create, insert. Let's start with author. I'm going to do sheet date. You can also affect the sample value right here. All the sample value would do is just tell you what this is going to be title in this title block area, or if a property hasn't been applied to it yet in the actual project. So I can change the sample value right here. Let's just say I want to change that to date. There now it'll just say date instead of January 1st, 2000, or whatever you want the sample to be. I'm going to change this to excuse me. I want this to be assigned to the right. Here I'm going to insert the sheet number. Then next I'm gonna add just a general text box to title this. And finally, or not finally, still have 2 more things to do actually. The annotation scale. Don't think I made this box exactly the right size, but for our purposes, I'm just gonna leave it like that. It doesn't look great, but you get the idea of how to edit it now. And now finally, I'm gonna add the timestamp. I can find it, yeah. Date timestamp. Timestamp I like to make even extra small, so don't edit that. You just duplicate it. And there we go. Maybe I will go ahead, adjust that. Okay, and there we go. That is our finished title block. That seems a little high, so I'm just going to use the arrow, bump it down. And there we go. So I'm going to save that. And now I'm going to open the tutorial file that I've been working with. So now if I right click on sheet, new sheet, I can hit load. Computer, I already saved that title block already, my computer earlier as tutorial 1. You're going to see that already there, but I'm going to load it again because this is not updated. When you change a title block, you're going to have to reload it into the project because it's not going to load automatically if you do adjust it later on. So make sure you create your own folder to where you save it so you can find it easier. Okay, and there we go. You may notice that's already adjusted to the new name because I already put the project name in earlier, but just so I can show you now, if I go to Manage, Project Information, we had already made that as project name if you remember, so if I change that to you see it's going to upload right there with the correct project name, and with the sheet name, I'm just going to call this level 1. The sheet name are not going to be applied to every sheet, but the project names and the project properties, they will be applied to every sheet. So I'm going to go back to Manage, change project properties. The author name be SRS. And the sheet date, you know, that'll go in automatically because that is the date that I made this. Sheet number S.2. I'm going to make that A.1. And the scale should upload automatically once you input your first view. And that is how you create a title block.